Somehow, Mike, even though I was just away and it seemed like we were not going to be able to record an episode this week, you and I have found the time and found a way to get this episode done just in time for Big Walk. We're going to talk a little bit about our first couple hours or so with House's new game, Big Walk. We haven't played a lot of it, just a couple of hours. It's something that we want to try to play at least, hopefully at least 3 of us, if not 4 of us, but it is tough to wrangle everybody, and it is a game you cannot play alone. But before we dive into our early impressions of how we're feeling with Big Walk, welcome everyone to the Pass Control Podcast, a show where a couple of best friends talk about the latest in video games and nerd culture. Sometimes we have guests, sometimes we talk about Big Walk too much. Either way, we have a new episode for you each and every week. As always, I'm your host, Brenden, and joining me on this lovely Sunday evening is the anime senpai himself. Some call him Martini Mike, Mr. Michael Desir. Mike, how are you this evening?
Dare I ask, did you really need to date it?
I mean, I didn't date it, but I guess we gave it a day of the week.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, listen, when people are listening later this week, they'll be like, oh, they did it on Sunday, and it won't matter at all. But
zero.
Here we are. What is a podcast if not just an audio book of our life, I guess? Sort of.
Feel free to edit that one out in post.
I'm not gonna. We're just gonna let it ride. We had a great show for tonight. Mike and I are gonna be sitting, chatting about our time with Big Walk. But before we do that, a couple of quick housekeeping things. Episode 533 of the Pass Control Podcast is sponsored by our good friends at Goodnight Fatty. If you're in the Salem, Massachusetts area or the North Shore on a Thursday through Monday, make sure to head on down to 1 Washington Square and get yourself a delicious fatty. And if you're unaware of what a fatty is, you can check them out on social media at Goodnight Fatty and at Good Morning Chubby and educate yourself on these tasty, tasty treats. Other quick housekeeping things. I don't know. We'll just keep it light and breezy. Go to the website, passthecontroller.io or playmoreiindies.com. Make sure you're staying up to date with everything we do, whether it's podcasts, written content, video content, streams, drink recipes, all that fun stuff. Make sure you head over to our website. You can get linked to everything we do over there. If you're listening on podcast feeds, make sure you're subscribed, but also make sure you leave us a quick 5-star review wherever you listen to the show. It's super helpful in helping us continue to grow the show. And aside from some specific episodes like this one, we do normally record the show live every week at twitch.tv/passcontroller. But if you can't catch the live show, or we don't record an episode live for whatever the reason may be, we do normally and usually put those videos up on our YouTube channel later for you to watch whenever you have the time. So you can look for Pass the Controller Podcast on YouTube and find us over there if you'd like to watch the show and not just listen to it. But anyways, I don't know, before we dive into Big Walk, I haven't been playing much else this week because we were... Actually, that is a lie. I literally beat another game this week that I've had to kind of clear off my backlog and get ready for the show. But that won't be a tonight episode thing, but I will say I did finish Pragmata this week, and it's one that I was probably around the halfway point, and I've been meaning to get to that, but things have just been so chaotic. Really enjoyed that game. I'll talk more about it on another episode of the show when when Todd and Don are both here, because they also both beat it, and I think my camera froze again. I should have a quick fix for here. Okay. Apologies. My camera's acting up tonight, so if you are watching this later on YouTube, you're going to see a lot of quick fixes as the episode goes. And I'll try not to call too much attention to it for the rest of the audio portion of this if you're a listener. But I really enjoyed Pragmata. I will talk for sure more about that game on another episode when Todd and Dom are both here, because they have both finished it as well. What about you, Mike? You've been playing anything else? Anything else on your play history this past week? Okay. I mean, it is what it is. We're Big Walk has been what I've wanted to play all week. It's just where it's dependent on us kind of getting the time together to play that. The other thing that we both did this past week that we will talk about on another episode of the show when everyone else is here, that I actually really want to talk about, is Spider-Man Brand New Day. We won't get into any spoilers right now, but how are you feeling about it now, Mike, being a few days past seeing it? Has your opinion changed? Are you same where you were? What's your overall on Spider-Man
I
Brand New Day?
I still think it is good. I have not given it enough thought to rank it or anything like that. I think it was a good movie, and it probably is one of the better showings of Marvel in like the last few phases.
Few phases, okay.
Well,
Well,
we're on phase.
the two past Endgame, or are we
Yeah, the
three
two
past
past
Endgame?
I think we're two past
Okay.
Endgame. I think we're on phase 5, teetering on 6, maybe. So we've
Okay.
gone through 4 and 5.
How does it stack up for you against the other
Holland Spider-Mans.
Hollands, or if you want to put them against each other or not? But
It's tough to say just because the first 5 movies I have rarely revisited. So like I know in my head internally I don't care for the Amazing Spider-Mans on the whole, and I know I really like Spider-Man 2. So that's just where I am with those 5.
Yeah.
And I have not revisited them, so I can't. Nostalgia's going to cloud my judgment. I'll be like, yeah, I think Spider-Man 2 was really good. I'll put it up there above like other Spider-Man movies. So just in terms of the Holland Spider-Man movies, um, it's probably one of the better ones, if not the best one. I feel like No Way Home was good, but it kind of falls into that sort of, um, it was really just resting on, hey, guess what? We had those other Spider-Man movies.
Yeah.
Surprise, surprise. And I feel like people don't like Far From Home, which is fair. I liked it, but I also don't know if I liked it much more than Homecoming. So,
Oh damn! This is the fourth Tom Holland movie?
this is a fourth Tom Holland movie.
Wow, I like completely forgot that. I must have been merging two of those other films in my head because I forgot that this is the fourth movie. I think for me, like when I walked out of the movie, I was very happy. 1 a.m. boy. It was like, it's late, but I'm happy that I watched this movie. I'm happy that this movie was the movie it was. Not super. Well, I'll leave that. I won't say that here. We'll say that for the full discussion about the film. But yeah, I mean, I wanted to get further away from it, and I'll still, as my opinion evolves and changes, if it does between now and the next couple of weeks or whatever, I was super high and super happy on it when I walked out of the film, and I didn't want to be like, this is whatever. I was like, I'm going to sit on it for a couple of days. I probably texted you and maybe texted the group text, so just being like, oh, I really enjoyed it. I'm pretty high on it. I think today I said, like, the more I think about it, the more I've been thinking about this movie, which I've basically been thinking about it all weekend, is still really enjoyed what I watched. Not a perfect film by any means, but I mean, that's such a weird critique, I think, in itself, because, like, I don't know how many movies are perfect movies and how many of the MC movies are like perfect movies or whatever. But for what this movie was trying to accomplish, I think it did a lot of that stuff really well. I really liked. I think you and Jen both had similar sentiments about. Oh, it was kind of like there were some slow parts. The beginning's kind of slow. I kind of liked some of that because I feel like it let Tom, plus everyone else in the movie for the most part, like, have more like time to feel and act on the screen. And I really liked, like, I think this is kind of solidifies that I have always liked Tom's Spider-Man. I think this is like my favorite. Not only does it make Tom my favorite Spider-Man, I think it makes, like, oh, this is for sure he's the best Spider-Man, and this is probably my favorite Spider-Man film. It did a lot right for me. I've seen some criticism about people feeling, and everyone is, allowed to have their own critique and criticism and thoughts on it, kind of still weighed down by like MCU nonsense. And I I feel like the stuff that they brought in was, for me at least, it didn't feel like it was forced in the film. It felt kind of organic, and it felt like it didn't feel out of place. Certain things being part of the plot of the movie, and I think they let both Peter and Spider-Man be such big parts of the film and let both of them shine in different ways. And it didn't feel like any of the other stuff affected like Peter getting to be Peter a lot, Spider-Man getting to be Spider-Man a lot, and all that other stuff also existing in the film. Like it kind of all coalesced nicely for me. But I really liked it. I'm probably gonna try to see it one more time before it's out of theaters because I did enjoy it that much. But one of the things I texted the group, I feel like when the MCU is in like a good place or the movies are hitting me good, what it usually makes me do when it's at its like peaks for me is it will make me then go, I should read some comics. Whether it's about the specific character for the film we just watched or something that's coming in the future that we know of, I feel like that's when I know the movie is good for me, when it makes me do that, because that has not been a persistent thing. There's been like very specific moments that have made me do that. I think after Guardians 1, or maybe right as we were getting to Guardians, I was like, oh, I like want to know more about these characters. I'm intrigued. I'm excited about the MCU. Whatever. I want to read some stuff about some of these characters. Captain Marvel did the same thing to me. Obviously, the lead up to Infinity War made me read those comics as well. And I feel like there's probably one or two other times where I've felt compelled to like scoop up some stuff. I think probably before this, right now, doing this again, the last time I felt like super compelled to go grab something and read it was WandaVision. WandaVision made me kind of like want to read more about those two characters specifically, Wanda and Vision. So feeling good. Picked up I already had Secret Wars. I just didn't read it yet. So I started reading that while I was away this weekend, and I'm 3/4 of the way through. I was hoping to try to finish it before the weekend was over, but I got as much through of it as I could, so I might try to finish that tonight, depending on how late it is, or if not, I'll definitely finish it this week because I'm enjoying it. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's my way of saying how high this movie is for me, of like, it made me go read comics. So.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't think I thought it was slow. It was just a weird thing of I think the trailers led me to believe a lot more things were going to happen in this movie than actually did. I think there was a lot of plot points that I thought were going to be more important that ended up just not being important. Like they show up for the briefest of moments and then it's gone and other things are happening. Other things like take the forefront.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I don't know. It's a good film. I mean, audience are clearly excited for it because it broke record. Is it the biggest opening ever?
I think it is. If it's not the biggest, it's the second biggest, but I'm pretty sure it's the biggest opening weekend. I think it's basically at 800 or 900 million already.
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, if there was a solo film that was gonna potentially do that, I feel like, especially with the way the Marvel universe is right now, Spider-Man was the one to do that. So, and I think the other thing that one of you sent was this the biggest box office ever because of this and the Odyssey and I guess Toy Story, like the most ever.
Yeah, I think it's because at least this year, but it might be ever.
Okay, I still got to see the Odyssey at some point. So cool. Yeah, Spider-Man is good. I'm gonna probably see it again. If you've been kind of soft on the Todd will be the I think Todd will be like the domino because Todd's probably been the softest on the MCU out of the four of us, and he's seeing it tomorrow. So if he loved it,
what's his thoughts on Spider-Man specifically? I feel like there are people that will have thoughts on the MCU as a whole, and then will have thoughts about Spider-Man as a character individually.
I think Todd is one of the people that will have probably opinions on both.
Okay.
He's also, I think, uniquely invested too because, spoilers aside, obviously, if you've seen any
Oh,
marketing
he
for
loves
this
John
movie,
Bernthal. That's
he
right.
loves John Bernthal. So like, he does like the Punisher in the MCU already, like however the shows were or whatever. So he's like uniquely invested for that reason too. Of like he likes that character and likes John Bernthal. So I am very curious to see how Dom feels about it too. But when all four of us have seen it and we're on a show, we should chat about it
I
more
mean,
in depth.
Dom did technically watch the movie. Let's be real here.
Yeah, I know. We'll have that debate. We'll have that discussion. See where everyone's at. But I guess that pushes us over to Big Walk. We obviously, like I said at the top of the show, we didn't get a lot of time with it yet, but we played about 2 hours together. But if you're unfamiliar with this game, essentially it is a full co-op game where you need at least 2 players to play. You can play with up to as many 12 players. I believe there is a version of the world, the game, that exists for 2 players to be able to play it. Then I believe there's also one that exists for 2 to 4 players. And then I believe that 4 plus is like separately. I think what changes is just the way the puzzles are like built, because obviously with the puzzles that we've done, we've had to use at least 2 of us, if not all 3 of us, to solve them. So I'm assuming they just maybe some of the puzzles are reworked for larger groups to make it a little more complicated or just a little more chaotic. So you need to have at least one friend. I don't believe there's matchmaking, so you need to have somebody to play with. And there it goes again. Said I wasn't going to call attention to it. So if this is from the developers House, which if you don't know them, you may know their last game, which was Untitled Goose Game, or the game before that, Push Me Pull You. But they are known for obviously very specific styles of games. Big Walk is no different. You are essentially, playing with your friends, embarking on a quote unquote big walk, and on this journey around this island, you are solving puzzles, poking around the world to see what's out there, and just having, goofing off with your buds, having a good time. I think one of the biggest features of this game that makes it sort of kind of what it is, and the game suggests you do this, and I am also going to sit here and tell you, yes, if you're going to play this game, please play this game this way, which is the game functions around proximity chat. So super, super, super recommended you play this game in the game chat and not with a Discord or other party service. Play in the game with the game's chat, because at least even so far, the 2 hours that we've played, that communication is so pivotal to the experience, where it would simply be a different game without that element. So I would highly recommend you follow the developer's suggestion of playing within the game's voice chat, because I do think it would change the game fundamentally if you did not do that. And I'm sure we haven't even seen, a ton of other ways that they implement proximity chat in interesting and fun ways. But you are playing. If you have never played a game with proximity chat, it is exactly as it sounds. If Mike and I are near each other and we're talking, we can hear each other. But the further away we get, the lower our volume gets, the harder it is to hear each other. If we get too far, we can't hear each other. There's other things that they introduce, at least especially early in the game. There's probably more as you get deeper, where you can, find other ways to communicate through long distances. We were finding ways of trying to alert each other, like early game where we're still sort of figuring out what was going on and like what to do. We found these balls that you could light up, and I feel like when we would get separated, we would be holding them above our head and like flicking them on and off to like be like, hey, I'm over here, can you see me? And then finally meet back up. The game never told us to do that, right? We just did that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what we did. Which, good game design.
Yeah, no, it leads you quickly into tinkering with stuff. I mean, the beginning area you start off in like has a lot of I think, basic stuff of like, this is how you pick things up. This is how you do, like, it has a lot of stuff in that little room to play around with, to kind of give you a feel for, certain actions and interactions you can do with objects in the environment, whether it's, sliding down a slope or turning something on and off, or, ringing a bell, or whatever it may be. Um, what are your initial thoughts on the game, so far? I mean, again, we've only played for about 2 hours, so we don't have a lot of depth to go into, and we did a handful of puzzles, and we do know how some of these how some of the puzzles work, and just kind of basic exploration and trying to figure out what's going on, because I do believe there is some sort of overarching thing going on. We just have not gotten to that point yet.
Yeah, I mean, I had fun. I This is probably the only game I can think of that I've played, cuz like I haven't played games like I'm going to just pick Peak because that's the top of my head, but like, Peak, or I'll even say things like Leave the Company, like the kind of games that you're supposed to play in the similar fashion where it's like, hey, there's game chat, use that.
Yeah.
You guys are kind of working together to do a thing. So this is my only real experience with a game like that. And it was fun, but it does, and like obviously your manage will vary depending on who you rope in to play with you.
Yeah. It is, I think so far at least, the game is 100% dependent on like, who are you playing with. And I was gonna, I debated writing something this weekend while I was away, but I did not have any real time to write anything. But I kept thinking about the fact that, I don't know. I mean, sure, there's plenty of multiplayer games that your experience is going to maybe change drastically based on who you're playing with. But this game specifically is so around, like, yes, there are puzzles to solve and there are things to do, and you are trying to figure things out in real time together in voice chat. But, there's also, so far, like, there's moments where we're kind of just walking around and, like, scoping things out. And, maybe we're not talking the whole time. Maybe we are talking about stuff. It really is a matter of, who do you want to be spending that time with? And I think that's like an interesting way to think about a game, because I there are plenty of multiplayer games where I'll play with randoms and I just won't be on microphone, and they won't change my experience, other than maybe if I'm playing like a competitive game or teamwork centric game, it might result in like some things that the ball gets dropped in, certain pushes or something like that. But this is a game where like you are choosing to go on this adventure with friends, and to the extent of like, so with our game, whoever is the host, whoever starts the game and everyone joins, that's that save file, and that person is the keeper of that save file. So like the playthrough that we have is tied to me, so that's going to just be a thing that is only going to be us four whenever we have the chance to link up and play. And I kind of like that idea. It might mean that it takes us a long time to finish the game, which is unfortunate because I really am enjoying it. But I don't dislike the idea of like that just being like kind of just a little persistent thing that we're playing as a group together as we find the time. And I don't think there's anything. My camera's making all crazy types of things right now. I don't think there is anything that would, like, I don't think there's anything aggressive or like things that attack us or anything like. I have no idea, but I'm just assuming there isn't that anything like that shows up later in the game. So that's one of the other, I think, kind of differences from, like you mentioned, games like Peak, where similar types of proximity chat and working together and this and that, but the only thing working against us, at least that we've seen so far, would just be ourselves. It would be Todd, the first time we find a walkie-talkie, kicking it into the fucking ocean, and then me and you are down there trying to find it because we're like, we probably need this. And it wasn't like something came out of the woods and, stole the walkie-talkie or killed one of us or something. It's just a couple of buds hanging out, and someone wants to be chaotic, then we get chaotic energy. Yeah, it's definitely, the game itself is fantastic, but I do think that there's something special there about like the dynamic between the people you're playing with, and I think that it is gonna be a reflective experience for some people that play it, where whoever they choose to play it with, should be an interesting time. I would like to at some point too, because I know a few other people who have been playing or have finished the game already. I'd like to get like a big group of us together at some point, maybe after we finish our playthrough, because I'd like to see what changes in a party of 12 or how chaotic that can get, because I can already imagine, just with the group of people I know who have or are playing it, there's going to be a couple more Todds in that group, and there's going to be a couple of people that are down to do the puzzles and get further. So I'm sure it would be a very fun time. But yeah, I mean, some of the puzzles that we had to do already were, I think one of the ones I liked the most was probably one of the last ones you and I did, which was you chose to go into a room where I couldn't hear you, so we had to use another way to communicate while solving a puzzle together. So you had picked up a laser pointer, and you were in another room, but you were shooting the laser pointer through the window to like tell me what to do next, like pointing at the things I needed to interact with. And it was just like, I don't know, it just felt fluid and felt fun. I'm curious what we would have done if you didn't happen to bring the laser pointer with you.
Yeah, it was fortuitous that I just happened to have a laser pointer. Like I'd picked it up earlier on, and I was like, "Ooh, a laser pointer!" And I just held it because you can only hold. As far as I can tell, like you don't have an inventory.
I think you can just only hold one item.
Only hold one item. So I picked up that item a little while ago, and I was just holding on to it because I thought it was fun.
Yeah,
it just worked out for the next puzzle. Like it was the perfect thing to have outside of a walkie-talkie. Actually, no, even a walkie-talkie wouldn't have worked unless we both had walkie-talkies. Yeah. So it just worked out that I had the one item that we could use in that situation.
But we don't even know if the walkie-talkie would have worked. There could have been like something jamming the signal in that room or something. We have no idea.
Yeah, I guess it's possible.
But I didn't even think about that until just now, that like there wasn't a laser pointer there. You had happened to bring one with you. That's interesting. I wonder how we would have tried to solve that if we would have stayed in there for a while trying to figure it out. I wish we could see that alternate path, like what we would have done.
I think we would have had to have used the arm mechanic for me to point kind of at
okay. That would have been way more chaotic.
To go over and look at my arm, and it would have been like me trying to remember exactly what buttons I pressed, because there's a combination you have to press to point up, and then there's one it's something weird. Like you can either have your arm kind of like at a like bent at the elbow pointing up, or pointing to the side. Yes. I would have been futzing with that for a bit. So the laser pointer was as far as I can tell,
it's probably the best possible way to solve that specific puzzle. We could have figured other ways to communicate and do it, but it would have been much more difficult. So the other thing that I truly enjoy, because it would easily break these puzzles if it was not the case. So in this specific puzzle, we would go into this little chamber, and there were buttons that could get pressed on one side, and then a room that once you went in there and shut the door, a panel would light up, and it would basically tell the person in that room, oh, this is the button that has to get pressed, but I'm on the other side, and I'm the one that has to press the buttons. So we've had to figure out some way to communicate. But if Mike opened the door, it would not only reset the puzzle, but it would change the order of button presses. So you couldn't just be like, open the door, you got to press this one, and close the door. Like it would reset it and also change the order. So you couldn't just, look at the thing, walk outside, and tell me. It wasn't as simple as that. It was a little bit more hands-on. I want to say that because we did another similar puzzle where one of us had to go in a room, and we chose Todd, which was, he had to like see the shapes, and then we had to put them in order on the wall. It was one of the earlier
Yeah.
ones. When he went in there the first time, I think you then opened the door and went in there with him. I'm pretty sure it also reset everything there too, so you can't just like go in and out. What I liked about that puzzle with Todd is it was funny hearing him explain what shapes he was seeing and having to be like, what is Todd actually saying right now? Because I remember he said like, I don't know, he said like lightning bolt for one of them, and I was like, which one of these is supposed to be a lightning bolt? But then I put like Todd goggles on in my head. I was like, this is what Todd thinks a lightning bolt is, and it was. It was
fun to try and interpret him.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I like puzzle games. Obviously we're all big fans of indie games. I liked Untitled Goose Game. Did you ever play that?
I bought it. I definitely started it. And that is full stop where I got. I started it.
Okay. You would probably enjoy that full game. It is fun. It's a good puzzle game where you're just being running amok.
I bought the game because I was intrigued by it. I wanted to play it, and I don't know. I just fucking stopped.
Yeah, that's fair. So like I said, I've played it. I have like House's prior game. I never played Push Me Pull You. I'm gonna have to look that up and check it out. But I've been looking forward to this one when they showed this one off. I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago. I can't remember. I know it was at a Day of the Devs. I can't remember if it showed up somewhere else. But this is one that has been on my radar for a while. I'm happy that we have got the chance to be playing it. I really can't wait for the next opportunity for us to play it together, because I would like to, experience this full thing with you guys. I don't know if we'll stream it. We did record the first 2 hours or so that we played. I should probably upload that at some point this week. Yeah, I don't know. It's a fun puzzle game to play with your friends. I like the art style. I like the kind of just existing in that world so far. I'd like to continue to exist in that world and see where that story goes and how that puzzle is, how the puzzles evolve, and see what's really going on in that world. Because I think it's doing some fun things, doing some unique things. And I think it is for sure one of those games that you should check out this year if you're looking for a good co-op time. This is a good year for co-op games, just simply based on this and Orbitals.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if you have any other kind of closing early impression thoughts you want to share on how you feel about Big Walk.
I had hoped something would come into my mind. Nothing did.
It has crossplay, so if you're, it's available. It's going to be available on Nintendo Switch 2, PS5, and Steam. So if you are playing, if you have friends that have it on different platforms, don't fret. You guys can all still play together. I would definitely check this one out if you're looking for a good co-op time. I think this is going to be a great game for people to play together, like good groups of friends. I would just, again, I urge you, play it in the game chat. It's so important to the experience. I think that's like the one thing to make sure you do, and then otherwise have at it. Do whatever you want in the game. Be chaotic, be puzzle masters, be a mix of both. Whatever makes you have a good time, but definitely play with proximity chat. I think that is extremely important to this game. But this is going to be one that we're, I guess, kind of reviewing as we get the chance to play more together. So I don't know if we'll talk about it every time we get a session together on that following episode of the podcast, but for sure we'll at least do major check-ins as we get further in the game. And then as we're able to actually complete it, I'm sure we'll do kind of our full actual review, sort of closing thoughts on Big Walk. But as it stands right now, this is for sure a great experience, one that I can't wait to play more of. And I think that's really shows you how good the game is so far, that it's one that I'm like, I cannot wait to go back and play more. So looking forward to our next time taking a walk together. A walk to remember, if I may. Shit, if I wrote a review for this, Mike, I would have fucking said a walk to, like, I would have called it a walk to remember. Shit.
You dropped the ball. That would have been it. That would have been the big winner.
Fuck. Damn it. All right. Maybe I'll do. Oh, I know. I'm not doing it tonight, but this week I'll try to make a cocktail for the game, and I'll call it a walk to remember.
Damn. It's gonna be great to black out drink one of those.
Anyways, don't hold me to that, but maybe now I will make a drink for a big walk and call it a walk to remember, and then tag Mandy Moore, and then maybe Mandy Moore will share it, and we'll get our Jack Quaid number 2.
Ooh.
Who's to say? Anyways, I think that'll do it for this little episode of the show. But we appreciate you. Thank you for listening to episode 533. Thanks for checking out our little early impressions of Big Walk. If you are a friend of the show, fan of the show, like I said at the top of the show, make sure you are subscribed to the show, leave us a 5-star review, do all those lovely things. Head over to our website at passthecontroller.io and playmoreindies.com and interact with us over there and check out all of our stuff. Be good to one another, and we will see you next time.